opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
You're listening to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM in the Inland Empire. Also streaming from the KCAARadar.com website, MBR Radio, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, Google Play, Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, Podcast, Stitcher, Amazon Radio, just to list a few. Oh yeah, and the streaming videos are located at Tiki Live or Rumble under the Farron Dozier Show. Catch us live or catch us on the archives at the Farron Dozier Show. Shout us out, what's the count? Visit farrond.com for more information.
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes in moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Calmago decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Calmago.com to learn how you can get Calmago through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh,
too,
man, that shot was cold,
I
man.
hated it, but it was good. Damn. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn. Are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I ain't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. You know the facts that if both parents have sickle cell trait, there's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait, 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSCT, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconsct.org. I'm over here on mute, just talking away. Again, welcome to the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio, 106.5 FM and 1050 AM. also on NBAR Radio. Again, thank you for listening in. This is a special edition show tonight, Thursday night. Usually I'm here on Sunday nights with the combined show of these two networks. However, shouts out to my counterpart. She's unavailable tonight, but she set this up. We were going to have a men's mental health discussion here, but she's unavailable. So the show goes on. I have a guest here, Quincy White, who's going to be sharing just what it is for himself around what it is to be a man. Like, there are so many different conversations in the world right now. And for us as men, we have these labels, we have these things that we deal with. And so tonight, I just want to have a conversation with him. He's a music artist as well, and he'll share some more about his background. But what I do is I don't do much research on my guests because I want to be in this conversation as everyone else who's listening authentically. So again, these conversations are organic. However, this is live, so things happen. So we're responsible for these technical difficulties. But Quincy, man, how are you?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thank you for hanging out tonight.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Just give the people a little bit of background, and then we'll get started in the conversation.
Well, my name is Quincy White. I'm a hip hop artist out of South Central LA. Grew up on 127th and Broadway. Been rapping since I was a kid. Yeah, and got a daughter, one daughter. That's it, really.
All right, cool. I'm familiar with the area a little bit. My dad, my grandparents, they had a barbershop on Broadway in Manchester. So I grew up in that area a little bit.
Ways away, but
yeah, a little ways away. Yeah, you're down further.
Yeah.
So give me some background, man. What was it like for you growing up in your neighborhood?
I mean, it was just like growing up anywhere else, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like you get adapted to your surroundings, and you learn how to move, and I grew up in a gang neighborhood, so it was a little rough in that aspect. But shit, I mean, just LA in general, you got to move a certain way, so you just staying out of trouble the best you can, and I was focused on what I had to do. At first, I was playing basketball.
Okay.
And then when I started rapping, I kind of slowed down from doing basketball and just went all the way in on this. So, yeah. So
that's cool. I have a sports segment called 20-second timeout sports segment, Chasing Hoop Dreams for basketball. Growing up in the basketball time frame, what was that? What was it like for you?
I mean, it was an escape, honestly. Like, it was just something that I was in love with. Me and my homies would just go out like every weekend or every night and find a gym where we can play at, or even sometimes we'll find runs like on outside courts some nights in the summer. Like, yeah. And then I played for my high school for a few years before I quit basketball and started rapping. So I'm still a fan of basketball. I watch it all the time. I watched the whole playoffs. I seen everything unfold.
Yeah.
It's dope. I love the game. Yeah.
Did you have a Chasing Hoop Dreams before the music started?
Did I have a chance?
A Chasing Hoop Dream. Did you have something was there some goals in that Chasing Hoop Dream, or just recreational?
Well, I think every kid, when they pick up a basketball and they start loving it, they're like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the NBA." That's the first thing we say.
Yeah.
But I'm like a realist. I was always under 130 pounds. I had a really, really nice shot though. Like they used to call me Sparklets, in high school. So my jumper was wet, but I couldn't even make weight and a lot of stuff. So I kind of was like, I probably won't go to the league and nothing like that. So after a while, it started being recreational for me. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I could relate. I didn't get my height or weight till after high school, but definitely played basketball in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And recreational. I went to Fairfax. So I played ball over there.
Went to Inglewood. Even though I grew up in South Central, I went to Inglewood because I'd end up getting expelled from LA schools when I was younger, and then my mom sent me to Inglewood. Like it's like such a good city or something. It's not as turned up as, disrespect to my street dudes from Inglewood, but it's not turned up as South Central or Watts or Compton, but it's still, got some activity over there,
Do you think, and there's a conversation that if you in an environment like gangs, that they leave the athletes alone? Did you experience that kind of relationship?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of that, like, when I was playing basketball, like even my homies in my neighborhood, they, because I grew up, my uncles and stuff, like, was some of the first people that repped the neighborhood that I grew up in. So they always would tease me like, yeah, you from the hood, but they'll leave me alone because I'll be walking around with my basketball.
Right.
But, yeah, they didn't never push me into the gang life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that just come with the territory, when you in them areas, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Even if you're not claiming the neighborhood, the people that's coming through to cause trouble, they're not like, oh, he not.
Right. Yeah, they don't.
Over here is from over here, you know what I'm saying? So it was like a guilty by association thing, but I never was all the way in that lifestyle. I was, respected by my peers. I respected the street culture.
Yeah.
But I always knew I had a bigger purpose than just being a street dude,
For sure. Let's talk family. What do you want to say about moms?
Oh, my mom, that's my best friend. You know what I mean? We still super close to this day. I lost my pops 2012. We was pretty close too, but you kind of cherish your parents more when you lose one.
Yeah.
And so I'm blessed to still have her. She's 66 now. So I talk to her every day as much as I can,
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for that. What do you want to say about Pops?
Man, he was a good man, he did the best he could, he wasn't perfect, but he definitely, tried his hardest to make sure that we came out the best we can, even until he transitioned. Yeah. So, I just hope he's proud of the moves I've been making. All of us, you know what I mean?
For sure.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I lost my dad transitioned in 2019. And so like you said, we have deaths in our family, but it's something different when it's a parent, man.
Yeah, it's different.
And it's a different type of experience. And I was grateful that he and I was able to reconcile that last 8 years.
Yeah,
I did some work on myself in my transition out of the military and some mental health stuff, and discovered that I had some thoughts about my parents. And when like you said, when I looked at them, man, they did the best they could with what they had, right? Especially at the age that they were when they had me at 19 and 20. So when you look at it from another perspective, it's like, wait a minute, how can I be mad at that? Let me take responsibility for my life. And
it's our first time doing it. You know what I mean? Like, I was never a parent before I had my daughter, and honestly, I'm not a perfect parent, but I do the best I can. You know what I mean? Just try to teach her morals and respect herself and others, and but we learn as we go. We can learn from our parents' mistakes and the mistakes of other parents you might be around,
right?
And just in being accountable, and I shouldn't have did that, and correct your behavior or whatever you might have done that might affect your child in a negative way. So you see, my daughter is she's on the spectrum. She's autistic, but it's mild. It's not crazy.
Mm-hmm.
She had a little speech delay, but now she's starting to talk a lot better. She's 9 now.
Mm-hmm.
So I just try to do the best I can with that, because it's already hard enough, with no disadvantages.
For sure.
So I'm trying to equip her the best way possible. So even if I'm not here, she'll be all right. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. We're gonna touch on that too, because I heard your song Dedicate.
Yeah.
So I want to touch on that in a little bit. But
Yeah.
your mental toughness, growing up in South Central LA, you got some athletic background, obviously. You had your pops and your moms. Who do you equate that mental toughness growing up, if you had to?
Oh, like
where it come from? Yeah, where it came from.
Honestly, man, both of my parents was mentally tough. You know, my dad wasn't really a stressor. I could tell things might get to him, but he didn't like hold on to stuff, and as well as my mom. And I'm like kind of the opposite. I be holding on to a lot of stuff. But I'm correcting that now, you know, because you know, we all go through different stuff and we all react to different things differently. So
exactly,
that's just my experience, and I know that holding on to things, it's a burden on your heart, on your mind. So you do yourself a disservice by holding on to things. So I'm just letting go, letting God deal with everything, and whatever's meant for me, I just do the best I can, you know?
Yeah, and I appreciate you, man, because this is one of the things that, you know, this month being men's mental health awareness, these are the kind of conversations that we've been having on the Sunday night episode. And I actually did an event in Riverside with some men, about 12 men, and we were talking about just what it is to be a man and a male and a father. And it's so many layers to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And being, like I said, being a father is a role, not just a person, right? And just depending on our examples, where we learned our behaviors from, and even what we made it mean about us, you know, it plays out in our adult life, right? And sometimes we forget where we made these decisions in our life and things like that. So you're saying that with your parents, you kind of saw their behavior kind of mental tough, but with you saw yourself a little bit different.
Yeah.
Do you recognize like where it came from or how it got established? Do you like recognize that?
As far as my mental, you said mental?
Yeah, for you, as far as like saying like where you say you hold on to things a little bit more, because some sort of, like for myself, I realized that there were some areas that I felt like I wasn't good enough, or I wasn't, you know, the I'm not. We deal with some type of I'm not, right?
I think I just think it's like a collection of things, you know what I mean? It's for me, it may be, you know, losing all my close friends. Going so hard at something and not reaching a certain goal you set for yourself. So you start to question your ability. But everybody else around you is like, man, you're great, you know, you're a legend, you know, whatever they may say about you. But ultimately, it's up to how you feel about yourself. And then we watch other people's success where we might have started with somebody and they here and we like right here.
Right.
But our talent level may be up here with them.
Right.
And so it's an everyday battle to keep yourself like level-headed and understand that your journey is your journey.
For sure.
And if you want to do better, it's just like you just gotta use all the stuff you see that may bother you as motivation. It's like, you know, you gotta just shift your perspective on how you look at things. And that's what I'm working on. You know what I mean?
In the passing of when your pops, you know, say your pops passed in 2012, did you have another male figure step in, or how did you address that? Like I took on with my dad passing, like it's my turn, right? Because when he passed, my grandson was born like 2 weeks afterwards. And so it was this roller coaster of losing my dad, but then now I'm the grandfather, and it was like, you know, now my example.
Well, like I said, my pops passed in 2012. I had my daughter in 2014.
Mm-hmm.
My homie, because I was actually staying with my homie at the time, Baker Man, rest in peace. I looked at him as a big brother, you know, and he passed away. you know. So I didn't really have a lot of time to grieve a lot of times because I had my daughter and my daughter needed me, you know. So I did have a lot of people I looked up to as, you know, either I wouldn't say father figures necessarily, but you know, either big brothers or just role models. And yeah, along the way for sure. But like literally, like I said, all the people I looked up to is really almost, you know, gone or you know, it's crazy. It's crazy. So, you know, you deal with people always associate PTSD with, you know, the military. You know, you can have shit from the streets.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Being paranoid, thinking, you know, people out to get you, and you know, it's a crazy thing, you know.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I like to touch on the grief. Like I said, I'm still in my process, right? When I was able to kind of come out of mine, it took me about 2 years, and I realized that I had damaged some relationships around me because I was in such a grieving phase, right, in and out of it.
Yeah.
For you, do you think that grief plays a part in people's lives of why we're on edge, because we're dealing with those emotions, that grief, and because there's so many phases of it, we go in and out of it? Do you think that could be something that people in life, or why they kind of are hard on each other, or there's something in the background of their behavior because they're in this grieving space?
Yeah, I mean, like I think what people, like I said, what people go through and how they react off the things they go through kind of shapes their personality. And if you're not somebody that can see that you need work,
right,
you can't really change the way you know interact with people if you're not seeing that it's a problem. You know, I am somebody that's very accountable, and I know when I'm on bullshit, and I know when I can, you know, tighten up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is a mixture of a lot of stuff. What people go through, how people view themselves. If somebody, like, I feel like when a lot of people don't know what their purpose is, they're more angry.
Yeah.
And they feel more empty because they don't have nothing to wake up to and look forward to.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they just on the hamster wheel, like just every day is the same type of day.
Yeah.
And you got to create goals for yourself. And even when you reach those goals, you got to create new goals. Always make new relationships, cherish the good relationships, remove the bad relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's multi-layered, really, for me. I don't think there's one thing that, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And your transition from basketball to the music, for some people, especially elementary to middle school, is where we lose our children when looking back, right? Because you're looking for that acceptance and belonging with your peers, right? And so for me, it was being a new kid on the block sometimes, and finding my identity on the basketball court is what drew me in, right? And making friends at that level, and then transitioning that identity to a soldier in 1989 when I joined the military. For you, was that transition from the basketball identity to the rapper identity, was that smooth transition, or was it?
It was a smooth transition. Like, I was playing basketball every day. I'm talking about every single day. And my homie that I was playing basketball with was like, hey, you know, because we started messing around and writing little raps and shit. I didn't take it serious. It was just something fun and something to experiment. And then, you know, he had a karaoke machine at his house.
Oh.
And it was like dual tapes. So you can have, what we would do is we'll get a tape and put some instrumentals on it.
Yeah.
We'll get a blank tape on another one. So we'll play the instrumentals on this one and record on the blank tape. And we would just rap over the instrumentals. So we wasn't taking it serious. We was just something to have fun with.
Yeah.
one day he was like, man, let's so we did like a whole little, couple of songs, just, freestyling and shit on a karaoke machine.
Yeah.
And then one day he was like, man, my cousin got a studio. Let's go to the studio. I'm like, the studio? Like, I didn't, it wasn't nothing that just sparked my interest. I was like, what you mean a studio? Like, the man, just come on. So I ended up going, and man, I fell in love like instantly with it. You know what I mean? This dude named, his name was Nonsense. He was from Compton. That was his cousin. And he taught us how to record ourselves on Pro Tools back in the day. And I'm talking about it had me so intrigued and interested that I feel like I didn't have time to play basketball.
Oh, yeah.
With all my time, I was like trying to learn how to get better with music and learn how to record myself better, get faster at, more efficient with the program. And I started off doing music, passing out to my friends and my family. And then that turned into the whole neighborhood knowing who I am. And then I ended up doing a song with like The Game and Kendrick and everybody. And then I got a name in LA, and then it grew from there. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't really know I wanted to like be a professional. I just knew I wanted to be good at it, because that's just the type of personality I have. When I do something, I try to be the best at it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was a smooth transition though. Like it was like kind of destined, like the way the transition happened. It wasn't it wasn't like a rough transition. It was real smooth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looking back now into that transition, we talked about earlier about maybe you have to give up some friends, let some friends go, get some new friends. What was that like for your peer transition, friend wise?
I mean, my close friends is always my close friends. No matter what I did, they always supported it. But then, as you obtain any type of success or accolades, then you'll have people coming in and out your life.
Yeah.
Like, when you do something big, you get a gang of calls and texts. And then when you get quiet, you don't really hear from the people that ain't really close to you. Yeah. And then you pop out and do something big, then you got the people checking in just to stay close, just in case you blow up. You know what I'm saying? So I know how to, because I've been like exposed to, being around famous people since I was like 18, 19. Mm-hmm. So I kind of know when somebody's being opportunistic. And I know how to fish that out. And to be able to differentiate who's genuine and who's not is been really easy for me.
Yeah.
So I mean, my friends is my friends, and if I meet new people and I feel like they're genuine, then we'll build. But I don't let people use me, or because I don't use people. Like I put my work in, and I really earn anything that I accomplish.
Yeah. You talked about success and what it looks like as you begin your rap career or start rapping. Was there somebody that you listened to? Who were you listening to back?
I grew up on Tupac. I grew up on Nas. Snoop Dogg, Cube, Eminem, Jadakiss, DMX. Like anybody that I was always, even as a kid, I gravitated to people that like I can close my eyes and I can vision what they're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not really somebody that just like a hot beat and somebody not really saying shit. Right. I've always been gravitated to a real message. So when I got into it, it didn't take me long to know that I wanted to talk about like real life, things that I see, things that I've witnessed, things that I've heard, things that I lived, things that my homies lived or whatever. So I always listen to real hip hop, you know.
Yeah. Did your family, mom, dad, did they encourage that, or were they more like, "Can you go to school, man? Can you do something else as well?"
My pops was hot. I ain't gonna lie, because he really believed in me on the court.
Oh, okay, okay.
You know, he didn't really have it like that financially. So, you know, as a kid, you know, you want the tightest basketball shoes. He was, you know, at the time, you know, $100 pair of shoes back then was like ridiculous.
Right, right.
He bought me, you know, some nice basketball shoes, and then yeah, I remember the quote. I remember the quote like it was yesterday when he knew I quit basketball and I started rapping. He said, man, you gonna drop the basketball to pick up a mic and sag your pants?
Oh,
so he didn't really like embrace it. But my mom was like, shit, if that's what you love to do, like go ahead, you know.
Yeah.
My pops didn't end up like getting behind it until he saw that I was taking it serious, and then people in the neighborhood was like, "Hey, your son is blah blah blah." Like, man, he dope. He wasn't even listening to me. He did
right.
So one day, I think he seen one of my CDs laying around, so he took one. He took one, and then he started riding around to it without me even knowing. And he came to me. He was like, "Man, you know, Quincy, man,
that's cool."
He's like, "You bad, man. You bad."
That's cool.
Like,
that's cool.
you know, he was like, "You really got it, man." He was like, "That's what's up." Like, you know, and then he became one of my biggest fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
It was really, really. He used to wear my label shirts, and he was like, "Yeah, you know my son." Blah, blah, blah. You know, he started going in for me once he seen the vision and knew I was taking it serious. You know, he just wanted me to, you know, looking back, he just wanted me to be good. You know, because it's scary for I would imagine it's scary for a parent that your kid want to do something that's not really like it's a clear path to it. You know, if you want to go be a doctor, you got to go to college, and then you got to go to med school. You got to do your residency. You want to be a lawyer, you go to college, go to, you know, pass the bar.
Yeah.
But with music or entertainment in general, is not really no clear way to get there, and it's not no definite way to get there. It's like you may do it and never get there. You know,
right? Exactly.
So he just wanted me to be okay.
Yeah.
And I understand it. But I like I told him, like I tell my older brother, like anybody that's concerned about my well-being because I chose this path, you ain't got to worry about me. I always make something out of nothing.
Yeah.
You know? So
before I take this break, you brought up your siblings. What do you want to say about your siblings?
Oh man, shit. My siblings is my siblings. You know what I mean? We, you know, it's never perfect.
Yeah.
We all different. Yeah. We all different. You know, you always gonna have love for your siblings. And shit, I just wish everybody the best. You know what I mean? I want everybody to be good. I want their mental to be good. I want their spirit to be good. You know, I don't want no you know, no on the fence relationship with none of my siblings, because I don't have any envy or hate or resentment towards any of my siblings. You know, you may not be able to say the same sometimes, but I mean, I just know that I stand and I come with with pure intentions, and I want to see everybody win. You know, I love my siblings. You know,
I appreciate you saying that, man, because a few years back, I got two sisters. We have different dads, but when I started, you know, getting back into church and just looking at life and doing like I said, my own healing with my own, you know, self-forgiveness and just stuff I've been through, I saw that, you know, there's a love, you know, the English language for love is like, I love you, I love my car, I love like, it's just like, I love you, and it's 72 degrees outside. Like, it's the same word we use to describe report on our emotions to things in life. But when I started looking at, more in depth of love, there's a love called, agape love. We hear about agape love relationship, but there's a love for our siblings and our family called storge love.
Storge.
Storge love, and storge love is a love for our family and siblings, but it also comes with an obligation type of love because it's family, right?
Bro.
So when I learned that, I was like, wow.
Bro.
So you have friendship love, then you have that family love, which is a little bit different because it comes with obligation. Then you feel like, well, I gotta do this for you because you're my sibling.
Yeah, that's not me. Like, and I think that's where the problems be lying when it do come to like sibling rivalry or
exactly.
Like, people see how you look and you got jewelry and nice car and you around famous motherfuckers, so they if somebody needs some help and you say you can't do it, it's like, oh man, fuck you. And
it's like
I just make this shit look good. Even if I had it, I don't have to do it.
Right.
You don't have to do it for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I told my siblings that a long time ago, man. Like, just because I'm your brother don't mean I owe you shit.
Yeah.
Nobody owe you shit.
Yeah.
I don't expect y'all to do nothing for me. I don't never ask y'all for nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
and it takes to have that, what I discovered for myself, because I had to, when I discovered, I had to go experience it. So I had to be the one with my sisters to say, hey, we're going to come together and we're going to go spend some time together, because that obligation, it takes extra to have that experience of being friends with your siblings, because it takes work, because that obligation is in the way, it feels like it. Yeah. So I had to be the one to say, hey, you know what, I'm going to fly out there. They were all at my mom's in Georgia, and I was the only one that wasn't there. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, you know what? I'm catching flight. I'm out. Right. And they didn't believe I was coming, but because I knew that if I didn't do that, how else were we going to be closer than outside of just the obligation feeling of, well, because you're my sibling, I have to do this for you. But no, like I want to experience that friendship with that sibling, and it takes work.
Yeah, and that's what people don't understand. Like, I'm glad you said that, because siblings will think you're supposed to be close just off the title. Like, you got to call. Yeah. Like, I can't be the only one that's calling. I can't be the only one that's trying to be cool. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't always be the bigger person. Like, if you got a problem with me, why do I got to call and break the ice? Like, everybody got to, have their own sort of accountability. And me personally, I don't care who you are. If you don't treat me with respect and I don't really care to have a relationship.
Yeah.
No matter what the title is, you know what I'm saying? Disrespect there. If it's envy there, if it's jealous, like I'm cool. I don't want to be around none of that, because this shit too short. And if I'm trying to be cool with you, I can't keep forcing shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's tough. It's tough when it ain't exactly the way you want it, but I only can do so much and try so many times,
Yeah. And this, like you said, it's not wrong that even though we have our siblings, we are supposed to go and find our own friends as well, right? So you have to be able to, but some people use that alt or that wedge in the sibling, like, well, my friends are my family. Like, there's a closeness, and it's like, why you got to put it that way? Like, you're supposed to go make friends with other people,
right?
But that obligation is it could be a corrupted mindset for some people, man. And that to me, that's what gets in the way of that family love, because of that sense of obligation. So I appreciate you, man, for saying that.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna take a break. This is the Farron Dozier Show, MBR Radio. Shout us out, what's the count, man? I appreciate y'all for listening. And we're gonna play some public service announcements, and then we'll come right back with Quincy White right here on the Farron Dozier Show. Do you remember studying sickle cell in biology class? What's the Count on sickle cell trait prevention is here to bring you awareness, education, and prevention conversations around the risk factors of this inherited gene. Visit wdconsct.org. You're listening to the Farron Dozier Show on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM in the Inland Empire, also streaming from the KCAARadar.com website, MBR Radio, TuneIn Radio, Pandora, Google Play, Blog Talk Radio, iHeartRadio, Podcast, Stitcher, Amazon Radio, just to list a few. Oh yeah, and the streaming videos are located at Tiki Live or Rumble under the Farron Dozier Show. Catch us live or catch us on the archives at Farron Dozier Show. Shout us out, What's the Count? Visit farrond.com for more information. Zetovia salve, made from natural and organic ingredients, good for inflammation, poor circulation, hemorrhoids, yeast infection, lip sores, dry coughs, eye pain, minor cuts and bruises, and ready to purchase at botanicaherbalco.com. botanicaherbalco.com. botanicaherbalco.com.
I just wanna breathe this name, my God. Lift this name up high, dedicate this life, give them all we got. Testify with our hands out, I keep them up in the sky.
I just wanna praise. I just wanna praise. I just wanna praise. I just wanna praise. I made it up out of the city, avoided the hate and the gritty. Me and my little brother, my lovely mother tried to make it easy, but we was some knuckles though. We used to let them knuckles throw. We used to let them chuckles go when we thought about the places we would go. Yeah, lights off. Yeah, no, really. Lights off. Yeah, no money. Lights off. Under the candlelight.
Tune in to the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM, also streaming from the KCARadio.com website on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific Time. Brought to you by Sports Collective TV, Sports Collective Radio, and Sports Collective Media. We got the Heme Factor, we got In the Zone, and we got Fourth Down in the 20-second timeout sports segment. All for you right here on the Farron Dozier Show on KCA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM, also streaming from the KCARadio.com website with my guest hosts Robert Lamar and Coach Will. Catch us on Sports Collective Media on Instagram and Facebook, and make sure you watch us Sunday nights at 8 p.m. on KCA Radio 106.5 FM, 1050 AM, also streaming from the KCARadio.com website. Music, talk, sports, and so much more on the Farron Dozier Show. All right, welcome back to the special episode of the Farron Dozier Show. No holds back bars. We're talking about what it is to be a man, a male. We're going to talk about what it is to be a father. Just things that I believe that, you know, when I talked to these men this past weekend, one of the major conversations that I walked away with that Saturday evening was, how can us as men be vulnerable enough with our partners, our wives or our girlfriends, or even our male friends, and then share openly without having that information weaponized against us later on in a disagreement or an argument, right? And to hear these grown men say that was one of their biggest concerns in relationships, and by not being able to have that freedom or have that vulnerability, now we carry that weight. And you carry those emotions and you're unable to release them unless you go work out. For me, it was playing basketball until I had my exertion crisis. Now I can't exercise the way that I used to, so I have to find another outlet. But how do we deal with that? And since this is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, you know, this is something that I want to bring up with Quincy, man, you know, before you had your daughter, and however your relationship with her mother was before that, what was it like for you trying to find that partner, that relationship?
I mean, I had it with her, but it's like I was young, so I still was doing, crazy stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But as far as what you were saying, as far as like being able to open up with somebody, that just got to be somebody you trust. Somebody that love you, they shouldn't weaponize it. That takes maturity.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody could tell you anything. Excuse me. Somebody should be like somebody you care about should be able to tell you stuff, and you don't like throw it back in their face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know obviously we either done it to somebody or we went through it.
Yeah.
And it takes some time to build that special bond with somebody that's not going to do that to you.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing when you do experience it.
Sure. So when you hear mental health or men's mental health, what does that mean to you?
Well, obviously, when you're younger, you don't really think it's a thing, or it's not something you think about because you just feel like you go through things and get over it. That's what we taught in the ghetto
Right.
or as black men. Just man, stop toughen up.
Yeah.
But like I said earlier in this episode, the things we go through and how it affects us really shape who we are. So
Mhm.
it's important that you know that and get a hold of that, because if you just keep going through things and sweeping it under the rug, one day you may be like, you may feel super depressed, super anxious, super paranoid, and just don't understand where it's coming from until you just sit and center yourself and like, damn, I didn't know this was bothering me. I didn't know the relationship with this person still haunts me. I didn't know that, this person dying, I didn't get over that.
Right.
Or this relationship, I didn't heal from that,
Right.
even though I'm in another relationship. I'm
Exactly.
ripping off the 3 relationships ago. Like so that's just something you gotta stay on top of, because just like us eating every day and paying our bills or whatever the case may be, that's ultimately up to you. So your mental health is up to you as well. And even because I've done counseling before, even with counseling, you still have to do the work.
Still got to do the work.
You may leave on a high talking to that counselor or that that life.
Right.
I'm not gonna be like this no more. But and then something happened. You like, man, F that. Like
right back at it, huh?
Man, this is bullshit. Like life is trash. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But you just gotta stay on top of it, man. And it's a everyday battle. You know what I'm saying? But only the strong survive. They say that for a reason.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's not saying that you can't have a weak moment, but you have to ultimately get over those things and heal from them. Really, not just get over them, heal from it.
Heal, yeah. Those mental health classes, whether you take personal development classes like I did, and the mental health, I did cognitive behavior. Looking at the Bible is full of principles to be used by, so you got to apply those to your life. And doing that's like you said, when you apply those ways and principles, you experience yourself differently. You experience life at a level of peace, because for me, it was like I live so far in the future of uncertainty that I can't control. So I had the anxiety today, especially when I made it mean my life was over, when my career ended, because my identity was now in that uniform. So it went from basketball to the camouflage to my rank. And then when that was off, it was like, well, I don't even know who Farron is.
Like, who am I? Who am I outside of this uniform?
Exactly. Yeah. So it was a wrap. And so my subconscious mind had collected enough evidence that life was over. So it was like, why bother? Like if I'm gone, who cares? But I held on to my youngest daughter Dozier because I just knew like the basketball I had some mental toughness. Like I knew I was tough, but that anxiety and depression was something that I had never experienced at that level. And so, to spiral out of that, into that uncertainty and then being mad at myself for my career ending, like carrying all that weight until I actually got in some classes. Oh, that's where that's coming from. And it was like, okay, so then I don't want to take my life right now. Like I can find something else to be.
Right. And I'm glad that you found something else that you was passionate about. Seemed like you passionate about this. So, when things, chapters of our lives may close, you know what I mean? And then we got to open a new chapter. I'm probably not going to be rapping forever. So, I'm pretty sure when I put this down, it's like, oh, I'm going to have that moment of like, damn, who am I? Like, you know what I'm saying? But I know that I'm bigger than a rapper. You know what I mean? I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a brother, I'm a friend, like,
Right.
And I'm not defined off of my profession.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's important to know that even if this podcast go down today, you still who you are.
Yeah.
So
no, you're right, because I in that depression in 2009, my buddy was like, man, because we were sports fans, so we watched sports all day, and so he was like, man, why don't you go do like a sports show? I've seen some stuff online. So I looked online and found Blog Talk back then in 2009 and started a show with this guy from Boston, and we did a sports show. Now he did most of the talking because I was just trying to hang on to life, but just having those weekly shows kept me wanting to stay alive to live into that next episode and create that next episode. So the radio became a passion. For some people, they find music to save their life. Some people find different things. So that radio kind of kept me alive. And then when I saw that my sickle cell trait was connected to sports, it was like, well, I have a voice. So now I found it was another identity, but it was an identity that gave me some strength to maintain myself. But even then, I had to peel that advocate for sickle cell trait off, because I don't. Who am I? Like, I want to get to the core of who Farron was. So those identities, like you're saying, is important because they can play a factor in how we behave with each other, how we act, how we pretend that we're okay and we're not okay. So before we get out of here, I want to talk to you some more about this transition from being a male to a man, and then now your daughter is going to be born. Like, what was that for you when the father role was coming in?
Yeah, like, cause if you like you living life on the edge, like if you by yourself, right? And you figuring out where you sleeping, you figuring out what you eating every day, and you're not really tripping off living on the edge because you're used to it. You know what I mean? But then, you think about this little girl or this little boy, whatever that person is having. You think about that little person and you start to think like, I got to do better. I gotta have more stability.
Yeah.
Because us not having stability and us being in stressful situations, that's gonna make her anxious.
Yeah.
That's gonna make her scared. That's gonna make, what I'm saying? So I prioritize my daughter's well-being, and is she in a comfortable environment? Is she around people that's not gonna scream at her? Is she around people that's not gonna hit her? So like I try to create this world around her where she don't got to worry about things. She don't, especially the things that I had to worry about coming up. Where we was gonna sleep, if we, we had to eat. I used to put toast in the oven and put some butter and cinnamon and sugar on it because I didn't have nothing to eat. What I mean? Crazy. So she ain't got to worry about it. She eating crab legs and eat, you know what I'm saying? She going outside and say, oh, I don't want to get in that car. I want to get in this car. Like, she ain't got to worry about shit that I had to worry about. So that's my priority, is making sure she comfortable. I never had my own room as a kid. Like, she got her own room. Like, at my house and her mom's house. So, that's my priority, man, is just making sure she live a way better life than I did.
No doubt. You know, I'm gonna ask you this question. Have you ever thought about when you came home, whether it was your house or apartment, and said, "Hey, foundation, thank you for holding up the house." Have you ever thought about that foundation of that home or that apartment building?
No, I thank God for, the roof over my head for sure, but I don't think I went as far as like, thanking the foundation, the plot and all that.
Right.
But that's a good way to look at it. You know what I'm saying? But I am thankful for every time I eat, like,
Yeah.
when I go out and I make it back safe.
Yeah.
That I can move my hand. I got all my fingers and toes, and I can see and I can hear. Like, yeah, I'm very grateful. And even in my lowest moments, I try to have some sort of gratitude. You know what I mean? Because shit can be worse. I can be on the streets. I can be on drugs. I can be in jail. I can be dead. You know. So,
I use that foundation of the house because, like I said, when my dad passed, and then I'm a grandfather. I have 3 grandchildren, a grandson and 2 granddaughters. I have 3 daughters myself, and sometimes as men, as fathers, we don't get that. Hey, Dad, thank you. Right? Hey, Dad, thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing that. So the way that I saw that for myself was a lot of times we think that as men we're the roof of the house or we're the roof of the family. We cover the family, but in that foundation of a house, if that foundation is cracked, it doesn't matter how beautiful, how expensive that house is, that house can be condemned. Right? So in that analogy for myself, I was looking at like, wow, I have to, as a father, I have to know that I've done the best I can with what I've had. I provided, even if nobody tells me thank you, thanks grandpa, thanks dad for doing this or doing that. I have to have that ingredients in myself to know that I provided, I'm here, I'm stable, and what y'all do is cool in the house. But for some men, we don't realize that, and sometimes we seek that from our family, right? Then because we do want that acknowledgement, everybody wants to be acknowledged, but sometimes as a father, as a parent, you don't get that from your.
Well, not yet, right? Because they're not understanding what's really going on.
Exactly, right? Exactly.
Older, and they're like, damn, Dad, you was really a good dad. You did, they just like, oh, you ain't getting me this. Well, I hate my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but that comes with maturity, so that they'll understand that you was a great dad, or you are a great dad.
Yeah. And lastly, being back in church now, and having God show me that my sickle cell trait, like I was born with that inherited gene. I was passed down from my grandfather's side of the family to my dad, from my dad to me. And then here God shows me that this is your military career was just a part of why you were born. This cause right here is in your mother's womb. I gave you this inherited gene. And so sometimes in the world, when we look at illnesses, the Bible calls them afflictions. And sometimes those afflictions draw us closer to God, even though we're dealing with our health or whatever that affliction is. So with your daughter being on this spectrum that, that they say she's on, how did you as a father, deal with that for yourself?
I mean, it was tough, you know what I mean? Because like I said, even without any type of like disadvantages, you try to like, you already know it's kind of hard to make sure they end up okay.
Yeah.
So then you put that extra pressure on yourself, like, damn, she autistic. I gotta make sure nobody try to get over on her or take advantage of her. So it was tough. Like when I found out, I shedded a tear or two, you know what I mean? But as time went on, I see that God was like, she gonna be all right, you know what I'm saying? Because when she wasn't talking, I had to learn how to communicate with her just off of I knew that she loved me and she knew that I loved her just based off our physical interactions. And, and then when she started talking, I was like, man, this is beautiful. You know what I mean? And now now when she called me and be like, "Daddy, what you doing?" and are you in LA? You know, like it's beautiful, man, and it's just something that I've been praying about, and you know, her speech is opening up, and shit, I just gotta thank God.
I can relate to you on that subject, man. My grandson, you know, I think it's the medical community with this spectrum of autism, right? Because for him, they even thought, because he wasn't talking, he was like 2, and they were afraid that he was on some spectrum, so they actually taught him sign language so that he could start to communicate with us. And so I told my daughter, I'm like, look, don't trip, like let them learn that sign language, because that's if that's what they want to do, but don't dwell in the autistic that he's going to be on some spectrum. And sure enough, man, at 3, whatever he was listening to for them first 2.5 years, man, it just came out of his mouth. Now he won't stop talking, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I just believe that there is a concern in the medical community because of autism is such a huge conversation now. They have so much money around that too, that they want to make sure that they're checking our children out early. But for some parents, that could be detrimental to your thought process of, oh my gosh.
Yeah, how did this happen?
Right.
There's nobody in my family with it. How did she get it? You
Right.
know? There's just so many questions, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, we can't control, you know, the cards we dealt. So we just, you know, move accordingly and maneuver around that, you know?
So the song, what inspired the song? I heard God in the song. I heard your daughter mentioned in there. What inspired that track?
She did. You know, when I heard the beat, I couldn't hear nothing but the topic of just my daughter. You know what I'm saying? And what causes me to go hard every day? You know what you know, even when I'm, you know, mentally messed up, it's like, okay, I can have my moment, but I gotta keep going because this little person right here is relying on me. Yeah. So that's all it was. It wasn't too much, you know, a crazy process of coming up with it. It's just I kind of tend to speak on how I feel when I'm in the studio, you know. So that's what I felt that day, and that's what came out.
Yeah. I'm gonna let you go, man. We've been here for an hour. What's next for the music career?
Oh, man, I got like, I'm working on a ton of projects. I'm working on like 7 EPs right now. I finished one. I just got the mixing back for that. The mix is back for that. I'm like maybe 40% into the second one. I got into acting, so I got into a big TV show.
No kidding.
On an episode coming soon on FX.
Okay.
So shit, just keep going. That's all I can say. I don't know what's next. You know what I mean? You know, like, you can plan, and
right.
We don't know. I'm just putting my best foot forward and working as hard as I can. You know, I thought I was going harder, but I know I can go a little harder. So that's what I'm doing. You know.
Cool, man. I appreciate your time, man. Again, we're strangers, man. So I appreciate you. Like I said, I didn't do much research on you because I just want to be authentic and genuine in our discussion, man. But I saw your page, man. I appreciate you, and thank you for your time, man.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. Have a blessing, bro.
Right, you too. Thank you.
All
right. Thanks for listening in. A special edition. Usually this is my blog talk episode, but you know, being a part of NBR, did some research, and there was a clear space tonight, which was perfect, and so we dropped that segment here. I'll probably just take the audio and put it on my blog talk show so people can listen to it over there. But if you want to be a guest, want to hang out, it's not just for veterans. This is a show for conversations, music, talk, sports, veterans, life, chronic illnesses. Be a guest. Hit me up at Farron Dozier on all platforms. The Farron Dozier Show as well. Catch me here back this Sunday for the last episode of the month for the men's mental health awareness conversation. So we're going to have one more topic there. And then my sports crew should be back. Robert Lamar and Coach Will with In the Zone and the Heme Factor. So look out for that sports segment piece. It'll be here on KCA Radio and MBR. And again, I appreciate y'all for your time. Shout us out what's the count. WDCONSCT.org. If you want more information about sickle cell trait, make sure you visit that. WDCONSCT.org. And shout us out what's the count.
Muchos de nosotros nos vemos afectados por la enfermedad de células falciformes a diario y un número creciente simplemente no nos damos cuenta. Los impactos de esta enfermedad afectan a todas las personas y en especialmente a las personas de color y con antecedentes diversos. Estar en servicio conmigo y con los demás a medida que creamos una mayor conciencia sobre cómo identificar y dirigir el tratamiento de los rasgos de células falciformes y ayudar a las familias a saber cómo superar el trastorno de células falciformes. WDCONS.
Do you remember studying sickle cell in biology class? What's the Count on Sickle Cell Trait Prevention is here to bring you awareness, education, and prevention conversations around the risk factors of this inherited gene. Visit WDCONSCT.org.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.